Hello and welcome to Sincerely Elvis Presley. I'm Sean. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And thanks to all of you that responded to my post today and said that you would like me to do an unboxing of this book. Thanks to Steve at TCB Since 73. Steve, I know that you showed the book yesterday, but you also replied to my post, which was much appreciated. And the very first thing I'm going to do after I recorded this is have a look at your unboxing, because I've deliberately avoided it so that I could see this. As it came through later than it should have been, thanks to the Royal Mail. Don't know quite what they did, but they decided to send it somewhere else completely, and then it had to be sort of rerouted and moved around, and what can you do? Anyway, I'm going to get on because it is a hot one here in the UK today, so I'm going to try and get through this before I actually melt. Now, scissors. So the last time I unboxed anything, I had a safe little jiffy bag that I couldn't possibly injure myself with, but we'll introduce a bit of jeopardy in today's proceedings and we'll see if I end up in casualty or not. So let's get into this, which, you know, I was kind of hoping that it would get here last week, really. But then I got word that it wasn't going to be dispatched until the beginning of the week, but figured I'd have it, and as I say, it all went rather wrong. But what can you do? What can you do? Now, how am I going to? I don't even know. See, I should have done this in advance, shouldn't I? Let's do a bit of slicing and hope we don't slice the book. Here we go. We're getting there. Okay. Oops. That made the camera wobble nicely, didn't it? So, what we should have here, I can't even get it out of its polythene. This is the world's slowest unboxing. Okay, here we go. The Final Fifties Tours, and it looks like the cover's been a bit scratched up there, which is kind of disappointing. Again, what can you do? What can you do? It's not too bad. Okay, so the Final Fifties Tours. What's special about this book? When it was announced, I did a short video explaining that the text that you'll get in this book comes from this previously published gem from Alan Hansen, which is also called Elvis 57, The Final Fifties Tours. The text in here is fantastic. It's got layers and layers of information, detail, first-hand accounts. It is fantastic. But what makes this one special is, I believe they said something like over 300 photographs. See, look, I've got a ding corner as well. You know, it's I don't know what it is about FTD books, and I don't know whether I just get unlucky or it happens to other people, but I usually get some kind of bashing somewhere along the line. I don't know, you know, what happens, because that was in bubble wrap. The box didn't look damaged in any way, so kind of what happened before with the 72 now in person, where I ended up with a battered one of that looked like it was done in the factory. I'm not sure quite what happens, but you know, it is what it is. That is quite ugly though. If you have a look at that corner, that is seen a bash, but I can probably fix that with a bit of Pritt stick. So yeah, how many photographs does it say we have? I'm sure it said there were over 300. I'm not sure it actually says on here. Don't think it does, but I'm pretty sure it said over 300 photographs, and it talked about a lot being unpublished. Now, what's significant, I think, about Elvis live in 57, I think, and I know I'm not alone in this, that what you get is the very epitome of the rebel rocker. 56, yeah, sure, he was a rebel, but there was still an innocence. He was learning his craft. By 57, his hair's black, which makes him look meaner. But I think, you know, there's something about the strutting greaser about him. I think you really see the rebel rocker in 1957, probably more so than at any other point really, because as I say, I think, you know, prior to 57 there was still a sense of innocence about him. He was learning his craft. Now, somebody mentioned in the comments to when I did the announcement video on this that if you accept that 1957 sees Elvis the Rebel Rocker, the EP that they give us is a bit strange with its content, because it's anything other than the Rebel Rocker. It's Elvis the kind of serene. That's when your heartaches begin, tell me why, peace in the valley, and I believe. Lovely to get a little compact 33 like that, but I'm going to be curious to see if it explains inside why they chose those particular tracks. But let's have a very brief look through, and it will be a very brief flick through. And the reason for that is what I'm planning to do is for my episode this Sunday, I'm going to do a more in-depth review of the book after I've had a chance to digest its contents. Obviously, I know what the text is because I've read the Final Fifties book before. But, you know, I want to talk a little bit more in depth about what Alan Hansen has done with his text and the detail he pulls out. But what I'd also like to do, I can think of at least 3 other books by Joe Tunzi, Eric Lawrenson and Paul Sweeney that cover a very similar period. And most of those are photo books, probably nowhere near as text heavy as this. But I want to see how they compare. If the reason for buying this is the fact that it combines the photographs and the text, because you could have just got the text with the paperback, how good does it stand up in terms of photographs compared to what we've had before? So that's what I'm planning on doing for this week's bigger episode. But as I said, I was excited to get this. That's tempered with a bit of disappointment of the damage I've just seen, but it's not terrible. I've had worse. I'll get over it. Now that was Red Robinson. So that's the interview that was done. If anyone's ever got or seen the Elvis Tapes album, when he was interviewed in Vancouver, black and white cover, that was Red Robinson that did the interview in that photograph. I'm seeing some good photographs. I'm not being totally blown away yet, but obviously with just a cursory look, you're not going to get the full effect as when you sit down and spend some time with the book. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing. But you know, a nice addition to the collection from FTD for sure. The fact that, you know, the official label is making that glorious account by Alan Hansen available in this kind of format is to be applauded, I think. I'm seeing some photographs that are certainly new to my eyes. But, yep, glorious stuff. Let me know in the comments, is this something, I know some of you have said that you're waiting for your copy to arrive. For those of you that have decided not to get it, was there a particular reason? Was it that put you off? Maybe it was the cost point, because let's face it, FTD are not particularly cheap, are they? But yeah, I've got to say, on my initial flick through so far, oh, that's a fantastic double page spread. But so far I'm not blown away by the photo content. There's not stuff jumping at me off every page. So I want to spend a little bit more time with it and sort of get to understand if what I am seeing is particularly rare and unpublished, because that was certainly the claim in the pre-publicity. A nice book, nice to have. I would have preferred mine not to have the damage. But as I said, what can you do? Yeah, that's certainly taken a beating on that corner, which is unfortunate. But I seem to have so many FTD books that are not without their odd issue. So there you go. Elvis, the Final 50s Tours. As I said, thank you to those of you that said you'd like me to have a little unboxing of that, because you know I love an unboxing. Plus it seemed a bit of a shame to actually waste a thumbnail that I'd already done. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, really appreciate it. As I said, I'm going to spend a little bit more time, and I hope you're able to join me at the weekend where I'll take a closer look at this. But I think the important thing to do with this is to see how it compares to what else is out there covering the same period in terms of photo books. Because it may be, if you're not a die-hard FTD collector, maybe you're better off getting yourself a copy of the text. I know that Alan Hansen had said that some of the text has been corrected, some of the errors have been corrected in this, but I don't think it was particularly error-laden from what I remember. So it may be that a route to go, and maybe a cheaper route to go, is to pick up one of the others that cover the same period and then pick up that for the text. But I'll let you know my thoughts on that on Sunday, so I hope you're able to join me for that. As ever, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for responding to comments. It means the absolute world to me. You know I love an unboxing. I managed not to slice my finger off. I am now, however, melting, so I'm going to go and stick my head in an ice bucket, I think. But anyway, I hope you have a nice rest of the week. I hope you're able to join me on Sunday. Until then, take care, everyone. Ta-da.
We'll meet you again. May God bless you. Adios.